Focus on you until you win. The world never stops speaking. It bombards you every single day with opinions, expectations, comparisons, and noise disguised as advice. Every scroll on your phone is someone else's definition of success. Every voice around you wants to shape your path, mold your beliefs, control your next step. They tell you what you should be, how fast you should grow, and why you're not enough. It's like standing in a crowded stadium with a single candle, trying to keep it lit against the storm of everyone else's wind. And unless you step back, unless you pause long enough to reclaim your own space, you'll forget what your own voice even sounds like. You weren't born to be an echo. You weren't created to copy and paste a version of life that fits into someone else's idea of worth. And yet, if you keep listening to the noise, the comparisons, the trends, the critics, you'll shrink your dreams to fit into boxes that were never yours. Most people don't live their lives. They borrow them from others. And that's the tragedy, because in trying to be accepted, they abandon their authenticity. They wake up one day chasing goals they never wanted, wearing masks that no longer fit and wondering why they feel so empty inside. This is why silence isn't a luxury, it's a necessity. You must build space into your life where only your voice can be heard. No notifications, no outside approval, just you, raw, honest, and real, because in that stillness you meet the real you, the dreamer, the fighter, the soul that still remembers why it started. And that voice, it's not loud, it's calm. But it's powerful. It doesn't beg for attention, it demands your respect. And once you hear it again, you'll realize it was never gone, just drowned. You need silence the way lungs need air. Not the kind of silence that's empty, the kind that's full of clarity. That reminds you of your values, your vision, your fire. Because when you're clear, the world's noise no longer confuses you. It fuels you. You see the distractions for what they are, tests. You hear the critics and recognize them as background static. You no longer seek applause because you're finally hearing something louder than the crowd, your own truth. And once you're tuned into that, there's no turning back. So take a step away, turn off the noise, let the world do what it does. While you focus on becoming who you were meant to be, not for attention, not for validation, but because your life deserves to be lived from the inside out. There is power in tuning the world out, even if just for a moment, and saying, I'm not here for them, I'm here for me. In that moment, something shifts, your energy aligns, your purpose breathes again, and your voice, your true, untamed, unstoppable voice, becomes the loudest sound in your life. Isolation, the very word, carries weight, a heavy kind of silence that most people run from. It feels like abandonment, like punishment, like being left behind. But what they don't understand is that isolation is one of the greatest tools you'll ever hold, if you know how to use it. See, we've been conditioned to equate solitude with suffering, to think that being alone means being lost. But the truth is far more powerful. Isolation is where transformation begins, because when the world pulls away and the crowd goes quiet and the spotlight fades, what you're left with is the raw, unfiltered version of you, and that's where the work begins. When you're isolated, distractions fall away. You no longer have to perform. You no longer have to meet expectations that were never yours to carry. In that space, in that silence, you meet your real self. Not the version you show others, not the mask you wear to survive, but the one that's been buried under pressure and pretending. You start to hear your real voice, trembling at first, unfamiliar even, but honest. And that honesty is your foundation. That truth, though uncomfortable, is sacred, because in isolation you face the things you've been avoiding, the wounds, the regrets, the patterns, and facing them is the only way you'll ever rise above them. Some of your deepest growth won't come from being surrounded by people. It will come from walking through the storm alone. From sitting in your darkness and not running from it, from choosing to grow even when no one is clapping for you. Especially then, because that's when you develop something rare, self-trust. You begin to trust your instincts, your strength, your ability to endure. You don't need applause. You don't need validation. You learn to validate yourself. And when you come out of that season, that sacred isolation, you don't return the same. You return unshakable. You return with a calm in your spirit and a fire in your chest. That's what isolation does. It forges warriors in silence. It's important to understand that being alone doesn't mean you're behind. In fact, isolation is often a sign that you're ahead. That you're being pulled out of the crowd so you can grow without the noise, without the distractions, without the influence of people who were never meant to go where you're going. Think of a seed. It grows in darkness before it breaks through the surface. Think of a diamond. It forms under pressure, far away from sight. Think of the greatest leaders, artists, thinkers, and warriors. They all had a season of obscurity, a season of becoming. Not in the spotlight, but in the shadows, because real greatness is not built in front of crowds. It's built in the unseen. So don't fear your isolation. Use it, own it. Let it shape you, sharpen you, strengthen you. Let it strip away what's false and awaken what's real. You don't need to be seen right now. You need to see yourself. You don't need company. You need clarity. And when the time comes for you to step back into the world, you'll walk with a power that didn't come from applause, but from purpose. From knowing exactly who you are and exactly what you're capable of. Because in the stillness, in the silence, in the sacred space of being alone, you didn't fall apart, you rose. You rebuilt, you became. Every day, the world throws more at you. More distractions, more pressure, more noise. It's subtle at first. A message here. A notification there. An expectation you never agreed to carry. Before long, you find yourself pulled in 10 different directions, chasing things that don't matter, losing time on what does. You feel busy, but you're not productive. You feel exhausted, but you haven't moved an inch closer to your dream. That's what noise does. It steals your focus. It fragments your mind. It buries your clarity beneath 1,000 unimportant things. And if you don't cut through the noise, if you don't reclaim your focus, you'll spend your life climbing ladders that are leaning against the wrong walls. You need to understand something critical. Distraction is not random. It's designed. The world profits off your attention, and the longer you're distracted, the longer you're disconnected from your own power. The ads you see, the trends you chase, the opinions you absorb, they're all crafted to pull you away from yourself. And in a world full of manufactured urgency, clarity becomes rebellion. Vision becomes a weapon. When you focus on your purpose, you become dangerous because you can no longer be manipulated by what's trending. You stop measuring your worth by what others are doing and start investing everything in who you're becoming. That's when the shift happens. That's when you stop reacting and start building. Keeping your vision alive in a world of noise takes discipline. It means making hard choices. It means turning down invitations, ignoring distractions, saying, "Oh no," when your old self would have said a yes-ay just to feel liked or included. It means working when no one's watching, creating when no one's clapping, and believing when no one's believing in you. But that's the price of clarity, and it's worth every drop of sweat, every ounce of effort. Because the moment you stop living for others and start building your vision with relentless focus, everything changes. You begin to move different, think different, speak different. Speak different. You're no longer just existing, you're executing. You don't need to prove anything to the world. You just need to be true to the vision that burns inside you. Because that vision, it's not random, it's your roadmap. It's the whisper you've ignored for too long telling you where you were meant to go, who you were meant to become. But a vision without focus is just a dream. You have to protect it, fiercely. Filter what you allow in your mind. Guard your time like your life depends on it, because it does. And stop explaining yourself to people who were never supposed to understand your mission. Your path is yours. Walk it like your future depends on it, because it does. So cut the noise, shut out the world long enough to remember why you started. Let the trends pass. Let the opinions fade. Let the distractions scream, and stay silent. Because your power doesn't come from being everywhere. It comes from being rooted, from being locked in, from being focused with ruthless intensity on what matters. And when you're that focused, there's no room for doubt, no time for drama, no energy for anything that doesn't move you forward. That's how legends are built. Not by being everywhere, but by staying centered in the one place that matters most, your vision. The mirror doesn't lie. It shows you everything. The strength in your eyes, the fatigue in your posture, the fire you've buried, or the fear you've fed. It shows you what the world doesn't see, and what you often don't want to confront, because facing the mirror means facing you, and that's the hardest battle you'll ever fight. Not the critics, not the competition, you, the part of you that wants to give up, the part that doubts, that hesitates, that whispers, maybe this is enough, when you know deep down, it isn't. That's why so many people avoid the mirror. They don't want to confront the version of themselves that's still waiting to be honest, still waiting to rise. But the truth, that's the only place your transformation begins. Every excuse you've told yourself lives in that mirror. Every time you said you didn't have time, didn't have support, didn't have the right circumstances, it's all right there staring back at you. And until you challenge those lies, you'll keep reliving the same story. The mirror is not your enemy, it's your teacher. It reveals your patterns. It exposes your comfort zones. It dares you to take responsibility, not for what happened to you, but for what you do next. And that responsibility, it's heavy, it's humbling, but it's also the most liberating power you'll ever hold. Because once you own your reflection, you start rewriting your direction. This battlefield is internal. It's not fought with fists or words, it's fought with decision. Every morning you look in the mirror and decide, will I live the same day again? Or will I take a step forward no matter how small? That decision, repeated with discipline, changes everything. You don't need a perfect plan. You don't need permission. You just need the courage to face yourself honestly and the commitment to do something about it. Because the moment you stop pointing fingers, the moment you stop waiting to be saved, is the moment you take your power back. Growth begins the second you stop defending your limits and start dismantling them. Understand this, the person in the mirror is not your past. They're not your failures. They are possibility. Every scar, every regret, every shortcoming, it's all raw material. And what you do with it is up to you. Will you keep hiding behind stories of a someday and a maybe, or will you rise and say, enough, I build from here? The mirror gives you that chance every single day. It's an invitation to break cycles, to kill the version of you that settles and give birth to the version that refuses to quit. And if you don't accept that invitation, you'll never leave the battlefield, because what you won't face will forever control you. So look again. Not with shame, not with judgment, but with intention. You are not broken, you're becoming. You're not lost, you're learning. The mirror is not the end of the road, it's the start of a revolution. And the most dangerous thing about a person who owns their reflection is that nothing can be taken from them. Not their voice, not their vision, not their victory, because they've already faced the only opponent who could truly stop them, and they chose to fight every day, relentlessly. Until that reflection starts to look like the warrior they were always meant to be, there will come a moment, maybe late at night when the world is quiet, or maybe in the middle of the storm, when you'll ask yourself the deepest question of all, what will they remember about me? Not what you wore. Not what you posted, not what they thought about you in passing, but your legacy, the energy you leave behind, the fire you lit in others, the battles you faced and won without an audience. See, you weren't just born to exist, you were born to leave a mark. And that mark doesn't begin with fame or fortune, it begins with your name. Your name holds a story. A struggle, a dream, a destiny. And the moment you realize that, you stop playing small, you stop blending in. Guys, your name is not just a label, it's a banner, one that only you can carry. There is a fire inside you. It may be flickering, it may be buried under years of doubt, silence, and setbacks, but it's still burning. And that fire, that's your responsibility. No one else can tend it. No one else can breathe life into it. The world may try to smother it, distract you from it, convince you it's too late or too hard, but you must protect it with everything you have. Because that fire is your why, your reason, the unexplainable pull that drives you towards something more, something deep. It's not about proving anyone wrong. It's not even about proving yourself right. It's about honoring the truth you carry inside, the purpose that refuses to die, even after all you've been through. Especially after all you've been through. And yes, life will test you. It will hit hard. It will challenge your patience, your strength, your belief in yourself. But hear this, your pain was never random. Every tear, every betrayal, every door that slammed in your face, it was shaping you. It was building a legacy through your resilience. You're not weak because you struggled. You're powerful because you kept standing. The fire that refuses to go out even in the darkest nights, that's the legacy being forged in real time. You may not see it yet. Others may not understand it. But trust me, something sacred is being written with your name on it. And it's not just about what you build. It's about who you become in the process. Because long after the noise fades, long after the trends pass and the applause stops, your character remains. Your fire, how brightly you chose to burn when the world gave you every reason to go cold. That is what echoes. And your legacy isn't just about how high you climb. It's about how deeply you touched others on the way. It's about how you made people feel, how you showed up even when it was hard, how you kept choosing to rise when staying down would have been easier. Every act of courage, every quiet moment of discipline, every time you chose growth over comfort, those are the bricks in the legacy you're building, with your name carved into every single one. So protect your name, feed your fire, and never forget you are here not just to succeed but to inspire, not just to live but to lead. You are building something far bigger than status. You are building something eternal. And the most powerful part? You don't need the world's permission to begin. You just need your own. Your name is your banner, your fire is your fuel, and your legacy is being written right now. So walk like you carry something holy, speak like your words matter. Live like your footsteps will echo long after you're gone, because they will. And when they do, let the world say one thing with certainty. They lived with fire. They carried greatness in their name. And they never left without leaving something behind.